Welcome back to my channel for a short Leica SL3 episode. And what I want to do in this video is I want to unbox a lot of accessories I purchased for my brand new Leica SL3. And that is something which I'm sure will interest a lot of people because there's a lot of stuff which is already available for your brand new Leica SL3, which you can leverage for your advantage if you are a Leica SL3 shooter. Let's kick this off. Alright, I've now had quite some weeks with my Leica SL3. By the way, here the lens mounted is the 24 to 90mm zoom lens. It's a lens which was one of the first to come out for the Leica SL system, and it's still not ready for retirement. It's a fantastic lens. In particular on the Leica SL3, when I mounted this lens first on the new SL3 body, a firmware update kicked in and this lens is ready to be shot. And I'm sure I will post in the next weeks a video about my shooting experience of that very heavy, very large zoom lens on the Leica SL3 camera body. But this video is about something different, of course. And what I want to do first is I want to start with the new lithium-ion accus here, BP SL3, and that's the 2200 milliampere hours battery. I have two of them because you can never have enough supply on batteries, and they come in a little plastic here wrapped in. You can open it up and then you have a brand new battery at your disposal. And as I mentioned in one of my earlier videos on the Leica SL3, these batteries also work in the SL2, in the Q2, in the Q3, very fungible. You can use them everywhere, but you cannot easily use the former battery pack in the brand new Leica SL3 because certain features like continuous burst rate with 5 frames per second and autofocus update and also certain video resolutions will not work. So make sure you always go for the 2200 milliampere hours battery because that will definitely do for you the trick. Let's look at the second one here. Let's open this up. Here I don't think is necessary to spare the packaging because this is just the battery, something you use. And here the same story. If you look here, you have the 2200 milliampere hours, and that's exactly what you want. So these are the two new batteries. Let's get the packaging out of the way. I don't need that any longer, and that's the first accessory I definitely need for the Leica SL3 because this camera is power hungry. And it's always good to have a couple of spare batteries with you if you are on a shooting or if you are on travel. So make sure you grab a couple of them, put them in your camera bag and have them available when you run out of power in the battery which you have installed at first place on the Leica SL3. Second, if you have purchased for your shooting a couple of spare batteries, how nice would it be to charge them in one go? And the former charger for the Leica SL2 and also for the Leica SL2S is still working, and that is good to go. You can use that to charge these new 2200 milliampere hour batteries, but there is something better which you can purchase now, and that's the dual charger BCSCL6, which is this beauty here. So let's have a look at this one now and let's unbox it and see how this helps us to charge two batteries in one go. So let's open this up here and let's have a look. And this comes in a nice pouch here. And you can open this up. Let's do this. Let's see what's inside. And then we get here a dual charger. And that is super convenient, of course. So here you have the battery. It's important not to have all these writings here at the top, but just the black blank side. And then it fits inside. You see it snaps in. That's it. And then we have here a USB-C port, which you can use with even the charger of your iPhone or your Android smartphone to charge these two batteries simultaneously. And that's something I was waiting for a long time because in one go you get two freshly charged batteries. Very nice. I can highly recommend this dual charger here, BCSCL6. It's worthwhile to spend the money on it and use it for your benefit in order to get more power simultaneously into two new batteries. And there's one more thing noteworthy to mention here. Even with the batteries installed in the charger, of course, it fits into that Leica pouch. So you can store it in here. Let me get this in. And then you have these batteries and the charger at hand. You very likely have a USB charger anyway with you because you will always want to charge your smartphone. And in this way, you have it in a very compact way in your travel bag if you're on the move with your Leica SL3. If you plug in the cable from a USB-C charger, you also see here some tiny little LEDs flashing, which is indicating the charging process. So you actually see when the charging process is completed, and then you can remove the batteries and use them in the Leica SL3 for shooting, or in the SL2 or the Q2 or the Q3, what have you. So this is also a good accessory for Leica Q3 and Leica Q2 shooters, because they can use it in the same way as I will use it for my Leica SL3. The next accessory is a simple one. It's just the USB-C to USB-C cable. And you can use this, for instance, as a charging cable for the charger I just showed you. So very simple. You don't have to necessarily use a cable from Leica, but I like it in the way it is presented here in that pouch, in that little bag here. And that was actually something we already got as a present at the influencer event from Leica at the Leica campus in Wetzlar. And you see here, I don't know if you can see it, there is a Leica branding here. It's a very convenient cable because it has fabric in a way that you can bend it in all different directions very easily. And it can be used, of course, for charging, but it can also be used to connect your camera to the Leica Photos app, and is a very nice cable. Leica branded, as I said, if you look here, not necessarily something you need, but I personally like it that way. It's all matching. And you know, it's coming from Leica, and as a Leica fanboy, of course, if you can get the USB-C cable from Leica, why not going for it? It's a nice one. It's very well done and manufactured. You see the table in front of me gets empty very quickly. So the next accessory I want to show here is the USB-C DC coupler DC SCL6. And that's actually a very interesting accessory here, which you already saw in my first presentation on the announcement date of the Leica SL3, because that looks like a battery, but in fact is not a battery. It's just channeling through the power into the camera body from this adapter here, which I will show in a second. So here you see there is a USB-C port, and that USB-C port goes into a battery case, which is fitting into the Leica SL3 camera body. And then it has the contacts here and can make sure that there's always power for your camera if you're, for instance, in a studio and shoot in a studio environment. So let's have a look at this other accessory here. Let's connect the dots and let's see how you can use it if you are a studio shooter. All right, here's the corresponding adapter to this dongle here. So let's open this up. Let's have a look inside. This is a bit more a voluminous package. And look how nicely this is arranged here. Looks really good. First of all, we get a pouch. And I guess this pouch is to collect all the different power adapters. So here's one, here's another one. This is matching and fitting to power plugs in all different countries. This, for instance, is for the US. And here this is for APAC, Hong Kong, for instance, or for the UK. And then we have here the adapter. And the adapter is nice and minimalistic, like everything we get from Leica. Here's a Leica branding. Here you get all the data points on that. And here you can connect now your plug. Let's get the one for Europe. Let me see where it is. I just put everything in the bag. Now I get it all out again. Let me have a look here. I guess this one here is for Switzerland. So let's get this in here. You basically start from this corner here, and then it snaps in. And if you want to remove it, you pull that lever and it pops out easily. That's the way it works. Let's have a look at the one for the US. I think this is this one here. So same strategy how to connect this. Let's get it in here. Let's clip it in. It snaps in, and here we can remove it again and go for a different one. So for instance, for the UK, let's get this one in here. Sorry, this is different. Here it snaps in. See? I'm doing this for the first time, so I'm sorry, I have to experiment myself. And then you can remove it and get another power plug. So that works very nicely and very easily. And now what you can use is, of course, we can use the USB-C cable to connect this charger here with that dongle, which then comes into the camera body of the Leica SL3, which will power your camera no matter how long you're shooting in a studio, where you actually can use a cable power supply for your camera. So that's quite nice. All right, so let's see how this is working. First of all, every power adapter I don't need, I get back into the bag here. So far, so good. Then we take the one for Switzerland and connect it again. Before I had to experiment, now I understand how it works. Let's get this clipped on like this. Here is a Swiss power plug. This is it. So it's wired up now here. Then we have the USB-C cable, which I just showed, the nice one here from Leica branded. Let's connect this here. Let's connect this with the battery dongle here. This is it. Let's remove the battery on the Leica SL3. So let me get this out. Let's get this in and let's see what happens. So this is all wired up now. Let's power on the camera. And you see it starts. And this is the ideal setup for studio photography, of course, because you have infinite power at your disposal. Look at that. Here we go. It's working, no problem at all. And I have power without actually a battery, but just with a dongle connected with that adapter to a power plug in Switzerland and wired up via this nice USB-C cable here. As I said before, you can use any USB-C cable for that. You not necessarily need the one with the Leica branding, but it's nice to have it. And then here we go. And we can just shoot. And we can shoot basically forever. There will be always power based on that setup. Very nice for studio photography. Very well done, Leica, that you provide this to us. And then, of course, if you did shoot for hours in the studio in this setup here, you can power off the camera and can remove it in the usual way, like you would remove any other battery. Just pull that lever here, give it a gentle push, it comes out, put the regular battery in, and you're ready for shooting without a wired connection if you're out there in the field. Simple like that, very easy, very good solution. So let's disassemble all of that. Here's the dongle. You can store it also in the pouch here if you want. It still fits with all these adapters. Let's unplug it from the Swiss power grid. Let's get the USB-C cable removed. Let's remove this one if you want and if you go for a different country. Otherwise, leave it on because there is another adapter which looks very similar to that but is not for Switzerland. So I can also leave this on here. Get it also into that pouch or little bag here. Let me get this in. It all fits and you see this looks good. Everything stored in one place. Let's get the USB-C cable and let's store this again in the back so I can take it with me on travel. Basically like this, and that's it. So here you are good to go for any studio setup if you want to have permanent power without any interruptions, without having to swap batteries. Not necessary, go for that solution and you will have infinite energy at your disposal for a very long day in the studio. And then last but not least, we have here the multifunctional hand grip HGS-CL7, and that is also something which I'm sure a lot of professional shooters will appreciate. First of all, we get here a little bit of a manual or notes. We have here the usual certificate, and then we have here the hand grip. And if I take this out and let's have a quick look here, it still looks compact, but it has, of course, a shutter release button now here where you want it if you go for a portrait orientation shooting. And let me quickly show you how to assemble this to the camera body. So here is an opening and here you have space for one more battery. And since you do not have to remove the battery on the Leica SL3 body, you can leave it in here. You basically can shoot with two batteries simultaneously and that doubles the number of shots you have available. So let's quickly mount this and let's have a look how this looks like. At the bottom of the camera there's a sealing which you need to remove here, and you have the same on the battery hand grip. So here you just have to remove this and now it should fit immediately, and there are two screws which fix the hand grip to the camera body, which is very convenient. Actually, I need to correct myself. This is a screw, this is just an orientation pin here. So this should fit nicely if we look at that here, and then we have here a wheel where we can screw this on. Screw it on firmly, and now the camera is a bit more voluminous, but you can shoot it in portrait orientation. You have here another control wheel, listen to the clicks, and you have here another shutter button, which is very convenient if you want to shoot like this. Look at that here. So for portraits, this is definitely a good solution in the same way as for all kinds of studio photography, and it doubles up the battery power you have at disposal. So if you are out in the fields and don't want to swap batteries because you're maybe recording a longer video clip, then this is a really good solution, even if you go for landscape orientation, because you have two batteries in this setup now, one in the hand grip and one directly in the camera body, and that's good, of course. All right, I hope you liked this video and it gave you an impression what you can purchase as additional accessories to your Leica SL3. If you liked that video, don't forget to drop me a thumbs up. Stay tuned on my channel, there's always more to come. Thanks for watching, stay safe and healthy, and of course, peace out.